Hey everybody, Christian West here. I'm glad that you tuned in to What Would You Do? Welcome to the series of videos where Joe and I ask each other critical questions from the executive protection industry. If you like what you see, click here, like and subscribe. And if you have questions that you want us to answer or try to find a solution to, send them to us via email, text. You can find us on social media. I'm sure you have ideas, or you can post them here and we'll play along and take your question. So, welcome to What Would You Do? Season 2.
I got one for you, Joe. Right. You employ an EP team of a relatively high caliber, and it's a relatively big detail. Let's say 8 to 10 guys. The detail leader comes to you and tells you that your detail did an audit of the kit, and he realized that there was a lot of medical equipment being put in the medical bag that they didn't have training for. This is not done in a bad way. It's done for somebody's misunderstanding of them wanting to do better, right? You're responsible for the team. You're responsible for the team's training. Therefore, you're also responsible for the kit, right? So all of a sudden, this stuff turns up that you potentially are not trained for. Right. What do you do?
Yeah, this is something, especially with medical kit, and also with non-lethals, but that's a different topic. But so with medical kit, which happens a lot. People, it's like you said, it's not a malicious thing or anything like that. They think that they're trying to be prepared, and so they throw in all kinds of medical stuff into their kit because they saw it online, or they saw it on a website, or saw somebody their paramedic buddy use it or something like that. So long story short, you gotta be really careful with this. Yep. There's two let's say types of medical response in details. One is one that's under medical direction. So that is going to be, everything's going to be prescribed. The way you respond to things, what you can respond to, how you respond, what you respond with, the gear, everything should be scripted, laid out, everything else. That's pretty rare. Those are the higher end details. Usually have some, EMTs, paramedics, and essentially an MD and everything else. And obviously you're working under an MD for that. So those are pretty rare. The other side of it is, the details that don't have that. They're not operating under medical direction. And so we're under, essentially Good Samaritan laws. So what are you operating on? You're operating on, good faith. You're not being paid. You're not a professional medical, licensed person. And, you're doing something at the scene of an emergency, et cetera. So you need to fall within those limitations, and that includes your gear. So long story short, that gear's got to come out because you can't have things that you're not trained to use. Yep. And here's the kicker. You have to have things that you are trained to use, but you have to be able to prove that training. It's not like you took an online course that you never got a certificate for. You got to prove it by something from, NAMT, Red Cross, et cetera. You got to have some type of training certificate that's also unexpired. So there's a lot to this. And a big thing that I run across a lot is, again, guys see things online, they throw in their kits. So just look at your gear that you have, and if it has an RX on it, there might be an issue. Not always, but like say, for example, like the one that doesn't is like Celox that has an RX on it, but there's actually a national over-the-counter prescription. Yeah. So, but if it has an RX on it, just check. So for instance, I see like decompression needles and kits. If guys haven't taken that course that they're certified to do that, those should not be in their kits. No. And those have an RX on them. And that kind of just, that little, go through your kit, check your expiration dates too. It's been a while. And then 2, check for RX on kit, get it out of there unless you're all specifically trained to do it.
Yeah. And it is actually one of my opinion, in my opinion, one of the downfalls for a lot of programs, because kits should equal training, right? Training should equal the staff and the agents, but you're never better than the worst trained guy on the team. It's not about hiring the guys that are fantastically high up. If you only want to have guys that are medics, they all have to be medics.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you can't have a team with one medic. Yeah, it will put you up to fail. Because, let's say you come to me, Joe, and say, give me an EP team. I hire you an EP team, and there's one medic on the team, and I'm proud about that. I tell you, we even have a medic All right, but he's off the day something happens.
Right. Yeah. Now you're actually kind of opening yourself up to knowing that you should have had a medic
Exactly.
because you supplied the medic, but you
Exactly.
didn't supply it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to ask you is, how about this one? What if the medic doesn't have his own kit?
Yeah.
So now he's got a kit that he can use. Does everybody use it?
True. And what if he so he brings his own kits and leave it there so he can use it when he's on
on duty, and then one of the other guys that's not
take
the
that,
medic, take it,
yeah,
and has all these things, and
I've actually had that happen to me when we audited the kit. Somebody had like equipment in there that is like way out of what we need for a medical kit, but the person that put it in there was authorized to use that stuff, right? Are you? Yeah. It's about bringing everybody up to the same standard, and the same with the kits.
Yeah. Good stuff.